Mm-hmm. I need you. You need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. You are important to me. I need you to survive. Hi, Talika? Is that it? Talika, Annette? Uh-huh. Deandra? James, y'all teach me how to read, how to spell. Hi, Elaine. Nicole Reloaded. Hi, y'all. Well, I see the YouTube streets are alive with the sound of beef. So I'll talk a little bit about that. But first, I got to sing a song. Get myself in the mood. How is it that two people who laugh together, love together, sometimes end up all alone? Tell me how is and how is it that two people they cling together, God they dream together, sometimes end up a lonely road. Whoa, isn't it a shame? Hey, hey, hey. I just feel like the music fits. Okay, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the situation between these brothers, James Caldwell and Kelly Love. Now I'm talking about it because if I say I'm in the beef sector, and if the story has got 9 people talking about the same story at the same time, then that is a story in the beef sector. No matter how I feel about the participants, that is the story of the day, right? So since I'm a commentator, I'm going to comment. Okay. I ain't here to start no shit, true size and all that, but I do have a couple of ideas about this thing. One being that, as I've said before, when two people who actually know each other, they've been hanging out together, right? They know more about each other than the average person because, as I recall, James is on Kelly Love's page pretty close to every day. Or every time I've looked in there, he's been on that page, right? So they had a YouTube friendship, and now they've fallen out. I would say unfall out, honey. You're giving these people all of this content. They are hungry wolves snapping at the gates. My experience with Kelly Love and I only been speaking for I think the last 3 days, so I know how this thing can spin out of control very easily with him. So let's try to go over it as best we can. I couldn't go over the videos because they're just too much. I mean, each one of them over an hour long, and then there's 9 people making videos same time. So we had to go to the source, and it looks like James was having an issue with this Quani person. Yeah, I say this Quani person because I don't like to just say Quani like I know the person, right? He's having an issue with her, and then apparently Kelly Love name was brought up in their beef some kind of way. Then Kelly Love contacted James Caldwell and said that I don't want you to mix me in with your beef with Quani. In other words, and I can see both of them. I can definitely see the side of Kelly Love, even though we just made up 3 or 4 days ago. The issue being, there are some people on YouTube that you simply don't know when to go no more rounds with. You don't want to have anything to do with. You don't want to beef with them. You really don't even want to talk to them. You only tolerate them because they're here, right? I'll give you the example. people are constantly trying to tell me that this mental patient over there has doxed me now and posted my address in my apartment, right? And they kept saying it and saying it and saying, trying to draw me in. I would not have anything to do with that person. Nothing. I don't want my name used with him. I can't control what people do, but I will not play a part with that, right? I go after 2 weeks of these people saying that my apartment is over there. He just posted my address out of the blue, just posted my apartment building where I live, right? Where I lay my head. I go over there and I don't live there. That's what I mean. I don't want to be bothered with those kind of people. So if he's saying that I have tangled with this quantity person before, I know how nasty it is. I don't have the patience to go through it with her again. And I just want, please leave me out of that. Right. On the other side, James is saying, well, since when is the name of Kwani persona non grata? We've been talking about Kwani for the last 3 years, right? So now, why is it now I have to fight without the use of stories that pertain to what we're talking about, right? I have to somehow take you out of it, but you are in that story. We've talked about her and talked about her and talked about her, and now I can't use your name. So they got offended. Feelings got hurt. This is what I went through with that boy, Kelly Love, 3 or 4 weeks ago. Started off with a little joke. All I said was, "You're nasty. You talk nasty." I don't know if anybody denies it, but he got an attitude about it. We went back and forth. Next thing you know, the harsh name calling is there, right? So it can spin out of control very easily. Now, James knows how to play this game. I mean, I don't think it'd be a problem with him. But sometimes when people are beefing, even if it's a slight thing, one thing turns to another, and you can't control that. So you don't know if you're going to be Xing this boy out of your life. He's going to say something that's going to offend you to where I'll never speak to him again. You don't know. You don't know if you're going to argue for a day and then just go back to being friends or whatever, because the thing gets out of control. That's what my experience was with the Kelly Love. And I was saying some pretty harsh things to him and him to me as well. And it happened in a couple of hours. So we know those guys have been friends over there. They've had a disagreement. Hopefully they can squash. If you want to make these niggas, the African Americans mad, squash it. Oh, it would be painful to them. Because I see they're making 1 and 2 hour videos about the situation, right? They want you to fight. So the solution is don't fight. Get on them. They say don't get on the phone. Why not? You're human beings. Listen. I understand where you're coming from. It shouldn't have got out of hand. I apologize for my part in that. Other person apologize for my part in that. And squash it immediately. Cut it off. Right? And then the people when you come on here laughing and giggling with each other and showing up on each other's pages the next day, right? That's going to make them madder than anything that can be said. All these people who making all these long videos, you can't blame them. They're in the beef sector as well, and they're commentating on it, right? But they're waiting to pounce a juicy, hot story because they know since you are friends, you have more information than the average person because you've been in that person's presence for a long period of time, right? So I don't think that their argument can't be resolved. I think it's a little tiny thing. The situation with her and Kelly Love, with me and Kelly Love, was so trivial, and we let it snowball. And then you don't know if you're gonna get back from that or not. So you got a friend on here. It's rare. And for some reason, these gay boys don't get along all that well, honey. I mean, how many of y'all? How many of them do you know that get along? People tend to be the hardest on their own groups, right? You take a beautiful young blonde woman, and she's at a party. Another beautiful young blonde woman comes into the room. They are instantly competitive, right? They want to be the number one young blonde woman, right? You take a muscular bodybuilder. They're competing with each other constantly, right? So anyway, hi, Deborah Mitchell, Nicole Reloaded. Hey, y'all. Let me see what's going on here. Hold on. Yeah, I'm careful not to get into it, but I'm still gonna talk about it though, honey. If it's in the news, we're gonna talk about it, right? I hate to see them fall out because they did like each other. You know, how many friends you gonna have on here? How many people can you get along with on here? Sometimes it's better not to get too personal with people. Don't if you like them, just watch them, right? Uh, don't take it to the next level where you're traveling together and you're on the phone and all that kind of stuff. Because when you fall out, it can be a major train wreck. That's what I'm saying. So I think it's kind of sad that this has happened. I think it's even more sad that all these people have so much to say. They're waiting for any opportunity. So go ahead and make them mad, baby. Make Satan stomp the devil's head, honey. Stomp on the devil's head. And you will nip it in the butt and they will be furious. They just faking. They ain't real friends. They ain't real friends. He gonna turn on you. Girl, if you can go and laugh, you can tell some jokes, you can do commentary together, you got somebody you can get along with, don't sabotage that over some argument, honey. Everybody argues, child. Y'all know y'all in y'all relationships. When you say you've been married to somebody for 5 years and y'all ain't never had an argument, you're lying. You're just lying to yourself. Of course you argue. You argue with your mama. You argue with your daddy. You when it's time for you to grow from being a child to being a man. That 16 to let's say 19-year period when they know you're about to leave and they're trying to cram all this stuff into you, child, you're gonna argue. You're gonna have disagreements. It is natural. But can you squash it? That's the art. The art is squashing it early. So it doesn't go to some low level where now you got to go through this long process of making up. It is awkward for you. It is awkward for him. Things that have been said. You can squash it immediately. Make it go away and make the devil mad, honey. Mhm. Let me see what y'all saying. What y'all saying? That's what they all seem to be talking about today. Happy Sunday. All right. Happy Sunday. Okay, almost missed you, You almost missed me. I'm sorry. Mhm. Guess what? When they upped my internet connection, it's got to be that. My computer's working fine now. All the hoopla over the last week, maybe that's all it took. Let's hope. And I still got a modem coming. That frustrated the hell out of me. Anyway. So what y'all think? Hi, Lane. Did you watch Trezor Lane's video 2 hours ago? I can't. There's so much I can't. I had three windows open on my computer and two on my television, all talking on the same subject, right? I said, boy, you're never gonna get out of here if you try to watch all of this video, right? I just kind of took the crust of the situation, and I'm just hoping that these guys gonna work it out, right? Because they seem to get along so well. It is rare, particularly with these gay men. Seems like none of them get along with each other. So if you have one you can get along with, you see what happened with this Sean Bradley thing. That started off as a silly thing too, right? And look what it is now. What year are we in? Or is this the second or third year? So DKL was in his chat and they are fine. Oh, he was? Well, good. That's what I was hoping that would happen. So Elaine says, Tim, did you watch Trezor Lane's video 2 hours ago? Yes, I heard him call out DKL. Hello, DKL. But I couldn't find it in the chat. I don't know if one of them is blocked. I know James not blocked, but I couldn't find it in the chat that they were getting along. So it's good. It's squashed. So people have to go somewhere else for their entertainment. Yeah, you got to find a different story. That's how you get them mad at it. You got a problem with it since the problem is basically pretty simple. You know, there are several people on here that I want nothing to do with. I don't like to hear my name mentioned by them people. You can't stop them, child. They got all clout chasers, like a stump creature. They're all clout chasers. So what do? You're being victimized, basically. So I can understand not going to be in it with Miss Kwani. That's not a thing you want to have. If you're trying to have low stress in your life, you don't want to go back over it. You've already been through that valley several times, and it goes nowhere. You know that. I wouldn't necessarily want to be involved in it either. Not with that one. Not with that Jason person. Not with that goddamn stump thing. Ugh. Well, of course, now for some reason or other, seem to have this ongoing thing with that Wilson creature. Maybe I just like I like somebody you love to hate. Maybe it's a Crystal and Alexis Carrington type thing. I don't know. I don't know, child. But because most people, some of these people, I don't want to have nothing to do with. Period. Nothing. You're not worthy. You're not worthy to argue with. I get absolutely nothing from arguing with you. You got. I don't even want to say the names, but they got basically no subscribers at all. They then came up with 1,000 of them in a month, basically using your name. What do I gain from that? I gain absolutely nothing from it. I got 20,000. You have 1,000. You're only caught chasing me. That's it. So I can understand not wanting to be involved with that. If I'm available. And Nicole, what happened? What did you ask of Charles Dawson, Nicole? Hmm? You're going to have to come to Uncle Timothy. Yeah, it'll be good to talk to you. We enjoyed meeting you last time. Uh-huh. The StreamYard do. It takes me a long time to get involved with stuff, don't it? It took me a long time to do lives. I refuse to get involved in all this cartoons and all this stuff here. I think it's distracting, at least for me. Too much stress, not worth it. You get absolutely nothing out of it, honey. Nothing. All you're doing is building their channels. They think they're so wise and smart that they're really doing something. Girl, we all see what's going on here. It's not hard. All this doxing stuff. Child, we know you just going putting Google in their name and whatever, girl. It ain't that hard. It ain't no difficult thing. You ain't did nothing. If you really want to hear our views, you haven't done nothing. He is not too cool to be critical, but you brought this up on yourself. And we are sick and tired of hearing your song, telling us how you gonna change right from wrong. And if you really want to hear our views, you haven't done nothing. Hey, Godfather and baby, where's the baby at? I know he's gonna be underfoot. What are you doing over there, scratching, boy? You doing the scratch? He got to go and get himself groomed on the 27th. The chair looks good there. Oh yeah. Whenever you get something new in your house, though, you got to get used to it, right? Because your eye is trained to see a certain thing in that space, and so I never jump to the conclusion, oh, it looks good, don't look good, whatever, because your eye has to get used to seeing something different in that space, kind of thing. But yeah, I love it. It's just from Wayfair. You can order him. Wasn't even that expensive. I think it's $350. But I hadn't changed anything in a while. When you live in a space like this size, you know, you want to shake things up a little bit. I said, well, I never change anything, but that's really not true, because if I look through my old videos, I constantly change little things, You haven't done nothing. Yeah. Then you got the 5 girl over there just carrying on. She really having her a field day. Of course she would. Uh-huh. What song we gonna sing? Nice color pop. Okay. What other song we gonna sing? I was listening to church music all day. What's the other one? Let me see. I'm trying to think of this church music I listen to all the time. Hi there, Bama Girl Vlogs. There are a lot of little fires burning. Ooh, fires burning. Keep your home fires burning. Burning. Bama Girl, I recently found out Sean Bradley said that you are the one I was arguing with over there. I don't even remember. When I fell out with the club chat, it's how important. I didn't even remember it was you, child. In my mind's eye, it was everybody. This is the beef sector where the men are afraid to beef. What the hell? Yeah. Well, they ain't afraid of beef. They just there's certain personalities. It's just not worth beefing with them. They're gonna call you faggots, and they're gonna call you. They're gonna talk about your family, and they're gonna do all this nasty shit. Right? They have no respect for you whatsoever. You have absolutely nothing to gain from them. So why beef with them? I can understand it totally. That Stone thing, I done blocked her from the computer, blocked her from the goddamn other computer, block, and you still, every time I see anything on there, it's always associated with my name. What the fuck is that? Right? So I don't want nothing to do with them people. Honey, I wouldn't spit on them to put them out. If they were on fire, I wouldn't piss on them to put the fire out. Nothing in it for me, honey. Okay, thank you for letting me be myself again. I don't remember that. From families. Okay, thank you for letting me be myself. Baby, mother. You asked for singing. There she goes. Dee. Out there. Dee. Get him on the doing it. Beanie. I'm protecting the house, Daddy. Leave me alone. You're a good dog. Okay. Well, just great saying. Oh, Sly. The only thing I remember from Sly and the Family Stone, did they have a lot of songs? I don't remember them having a lot of songs. I remember them being very popular entertainers, Sometimes you'll find that their concerts will be popular. But I remember one child grows up to be somebody just loves to learn. Another child grows up to be somebody just loves to burn. Mama loves both of them. You see, it's in the blood. Both kids cutting around. Blood's thicker than mud. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. Whoa. Newlyweds. Here it comes. They're still checking each other out. Yeah. Nobody wants to run. Nobody wants to be left out. I guess he was kind of a rapper before his time, right? I know Marvin Gaye had was it Marvin Gaye? Yeah, he had a rap song before rap. What was it? Of course, Curtis Mayfield had several rap songs. I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, and all that stuff. I was singing a beautiful church song this morning. I forget what it was. We already sang Leandria. It'll come back to me. Yeah, I don't see any point arguing with somebody like corny. And there's another element there. When somebody is drinking, they're drunk. You're not on the same plane, honey. It is useless because they're gonna say anything. They're drunk, right? You've been around drunks before. You're not on the same plane. If you're both smoking weed, then you can have a beef. You're both, yeah, cool, man. Right on, brother. If you're both are the same thing, but for one to be on acid and one to be on marijuana, it doesn't work, honey. One to be on speed and one to be on barbiturates, you got nothing in common, nothing to talk about, right? You got to be on the same place. So you need to be, if you're going to be beefing with somebody, beef with somebody on the same level as you. In other words, a clear head. I don't want to argue with you. You go and get drunk so you can come over here and talk shit to me. That's not an argument to me. You are my lady. You're everything I need and more. You are my lady. So that's about it. You are my lady. I don't remember. I don't remember. Today I saw somebody. She looked just like you. She'd walk like you do. I thought it was you. As she turned the corner, I called out your name. I felt so ashamed when it wasn't you. Wasn't you? Ooh, you are everything, and everything is you. Whoa, you are everything, and everything is you. How can I forget when each thing face that I see brings back memories of being with you? I just can't go on. Ed Gee, welcome. Hi, Ed Gee. Where you been? You been traveling? I ain't seen Ed Gee in a while. Huh? Living life as I do. These people are much bolder than I am. A lot of the ones, the popular ones, they play music all through their videos. I'm trying to figure out how do you get away with that? Because if I just play one goddamn note in my videos, or even if I have a television in the background and it plays somebody's music. One time I took the dog to the dog park and I was showing, in fact, that was again yesterday. They have it once a year, the dog show in the park, right? There was a music playing in the park and they demonetized me for that. They demonetized me for everything that's musical. That's why I have to sing my own songs. Honey. But somebody they play rap music and all kind of stuff. Unless they're one of those channels that actually gets enough cash apps where they don't need to worry about AdSense. Other than that, I don't see how it makes any sense or how to get away with it. I know you don't think you don't drink anymore, but I can only imagine what songs would you sing after drinking. Charles Dawson ain't nothing like a sloppy drunk who thinks he can sing. Child. I'm so grateful that I gave up alcohol. But as soon as I started with drugs, I almost immediately stopped drinking. It wasn't intentional. I was just in the club realizing, damn, I haven't even ordered a drink. I've been here for 6 hours. But that other thing took over. And so fortunately, I never went back to alcohol. So I haven't had a drink in 35 years. I barely, but a lot of that's about being young too. You know, young people want to party, they want to drink and all that kind of stuff. Some of us get carried away, gets out of hand. But I don't think it's all that unusual. Every club I ever went to, they were always packed. You had to wait outside to get in. So I wasn't the only one drinking. Let me see. I wish I could play music and sing too. That would be even better, honey. Let that music drown you. I just like to hear just I enjoy remembering things. I get a kick out of that. Because the Sir Duke. Who in the hell is Sir Duke? By Stevie Wonder? Sir Duke. I wish we were on live stream. We could hum to each other. I do remember that name though, by Stevie Wonder. Now I know George Clinton, Sir Duke, devoid of funk. He makes his funky. He said, "Make my funky P funk. I wants to get funked up. I want to par. I want a P funk. Don't want my funk stepped on. Make mine, baby. Make my funky P funk." Apparently, George Clinton is still having a pretty good career. He's a legend, as they say. Bobby Womack, if you see, Bobby Womack, baby. If you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight, girl. You'll be lonely and I'll be long gone. Wait until tonight, girl. You throw it up in her face. You think that was something, honey? Wait till you come home. Ain't nothing worse than coming home and realizing your man done gone, honey. You go into that closet, open that. When that happened to me, my partner and I, we had 2 breakups, right? And he would just run. He would just go to his sister's house. And the second time when I came, I thought we had kind of squashed whatever our issue was. And I came home and that damn closet was empty. I fell on the floor. I collapsed. Called me blind. Oh, I remember what the argument was about. There was a scam back in the 70s. And this scam, this was long before I even did any drugs. This is all, it was still drinking, but the scam was, I wonder if they can get me. Let me see. I don't think so. I think it's statute of limitations. The scam was you would fly into town, right? And you would, how would you do this? Okay, you know how you get off a plane and you take your luggage off the conveyor belt and you get off a plane? Well, we would one person would take the luggage away, right? And the other person, that person oftentimes be me, would go and report where my bags, right? And the companies, you could claim anything in the bag. I forget what the maximum was, $700-800. The companies would cut you a check for $800 because they had lost your bags. Because airlines lose bags all the time. It's not unusual, right? But it was a scam. I don't think you can get in trouble for old scams, but be aware, people. Baby, drug addicts got to eat, honey. You always be my baby. Mariah Carey, I wasn't familiar with her. I never listened to Mariah Carey. I remember her being very popular, though. Same time as Rick James was so popular. And Tina Marie. Let me see what else going on. You'll be lonely and I'll be long gone. Wait. That's a pretty song. There's a lot of pretty songs in the old days. Maybe there's good music still out there. I'm just not aware of it. Seems like it's all hip hop now and all rap kind of thing. They kind of took over it. I mean, you can respect it. They carved out their own industry. So now you see these kids that you probably would have been gangbangers under any other circumstances, who are very wealthy rappers, you know. But I miss the real music, you know. What's some other ones? Y'all know? Y'all know some more music that your uncle won't hurt your ears. 70s soul. The Philly sound of Gamble and Huff. What did Gamble and Huff do? Tell me. You got to give me a song, man. Give me that music. The other ones I used to like. Be quiet, Queenie. Sir, do okay. I'm gonna be behind again. Lord have mercy. Okay, I wish Grammy, thank you. Okay. Yeah, I wish I could write. I should have wrote some songs down, some music. It's fun. It's fun on Sundays too. Me and Mrs. Jones, we got a thing going on. We both know that it's wrong, but it's much too strong to let it go now. We meet every day at that same cafe. I just sing it yesterday, 6:30. I know she'll be meeting. You're meeting this woman, somebody else's wife, every day at the same cafe, and know she gonna be there, holding hands and making all kinds of plans. And then tomorrow you'll meet at the same place and the same. Oh, girl, why are these people promoting cheating, honey? You're a side chick. If I were your woman and you were my man, you'd have no other. Can you imagine your woman has got a voice like this? You'd have no other woman. You'd be weak as a lamb. If you had the strength to walk out that door. Okay, come on. No, come on and go with me. Yeah. Come on over to my place. It'll be so nice. It'll be so sweet. Yeah. Thank you, Edgy. Come on, go with me. Oh, that was a pretty song. Let's take or something. You're the kind whose spirit are running free. My car's right outside. We can leave right now. That's if you're ready to go. How does it sound to you? Because it sounds so good to me. come on and go with me. Come on over to my place. Hi, Eddie. Hey, Tim. Hope you are well. Uh, I don't use drugs, but I'm curious. What does meth do to you? Iggy, there's a whole book about it. It's called Meth Monster. From the very beginning, the very first hit, we take it all the way through to sobriety. What does it do to you? I mean, it's like most drugs. It tricks you. It tricks you. It is of the devil. That's the tool of Satan, honey. Because after you get hooked, doesn't matter how you got there. But at first, it does something for you. It has to, or you wouldn't do it, right? Some people they're stressed about everything. They're stressed about bills, and they're stressed about relationships, and they're stressed about everything. They're stressed about they haven't made no success in their life, and they're stressed about this and stressed about that. For me, they're stressed about AIDS. It was just coming. And you find escape. I don't think alcohol is that much different than doing drugs, really. They just decided to make alcohol legal. So people are real hard on drug dealers. They still seem to think they're hanging around schoolyards trying to get kids hooked on heroin. But really, getting hooked on alcohol ain't no better. If you know alcoholics, you know what I'm saying. High is high. You're high on weed, or you're high on alcohol. You're high on, actually, alcohol is one of the worst. I mean, the behavior associated with alcohol is worse than most drugs. Right? Yes, people get desperate because it costs so much money, and you got to keep on doing it. But yeah, Aggie, I recommend Meth Monster. I think if you're curious about that or any other drug, or just my experience with that, or if you know somebody who's in the struggle, I think it'd be beneficial to read that book. hmm It's a spiritual book. You would never guess it the way they talk about it on here, but it's a spiritual book about the power of God, what God can do, right? But in order for me to make a point of what God can do, there is no without a test, there is no testimony, honey. So you had to go through the whole thing. I had never dreamed that childish minds would pick out a sentence here and there and try to turn it into something nasty to use against you. I don't know if any writer has ever experienced that. To tell you the truth, I've never seen it on here. It's an amazing thing that happens in the beef section. Yep. So I'm clean. Let me see. October, I'll be 21 years clean. Right. I have 2 sobriety dates. They make a big deal out of sobriety. What date you got clean in 12 step? But since I don't go to 12 step, I don't think about it that often. But I have the paperwork here. Case I get confused or have need of that information, because there's 2 dates, because I count the date that the police arrested me last, right? That's all documented. And then, so I never used drugs after that, after the last time, right? But I count also the date that I got out of prison, and now I was walking free on my own. In prison, I had no choice, right? So that's one sobriety date. I was not using any drugs. On the streets, then I was actually walking in sobriety. Walking with my God. 21 years. Who would have thunk? I see some of my friends from my using days on the street now. We've all become old men now. And you can imagine what shape you're in if you've been using this long. You've been using 21 years past what condition we were in then. So it's not good. So even if I drop dead soon, I would have had 21 good years in my right mind. Uh-huh. Oh, that's Nicole's talking about her pug mixed with the Maltese. Designer dog. You know what dog is very popular here, Nicole? More popular than anything else is these Labradoodles. So it's part Labrador and part poodle, and they are bred that way. So they are a unique breed, but there are lots of them in San Francisco. I don't know if it's around the country or not. They're beautiful. They look like just real tall poodles, but they have characteristics of a Labrador as well. Let me see. Did you ever go to 12 step? Yep. In my 20s, I tried it. When I was 25, I got off alcohol, right? At that time, I was just a club kid, club boy. and I went out and partied every night in the bars. I lived right over the one of the most popular bars in Hollywood, West Hollywood, and we partied every night. And then at 25, I broke up with my partner, and I turned myself into 12 step, and I loved it. I loved it. Couldn't Didn't really work for me. I think over the next 3 years, from 25 to 28, I was clean over over 2 years, right? So I had a couple of relapses, but basically I was clean then. And then while I was in the 12-step program for alcohol, people were coming in, and the majority of the people in the gay community at that time were coming in for use of crystal meth. So I kept hearing about crystal meth and hearing about it and hearing about it and hearing about it. So when I relapsed at 28 years old, what do you think I did? I was drunk. I mean, I relapsed on alcohol. I was drunk. I heard all this information about how fabulous this crystal meth was. I tried crystal meth, and it changed my whole world. Right. Ed Geese, your apartment is so well kept. Hmm. It's a bitch to dust. I dusted yesterday, sneezing all day. But uh, well, my ambition and my dream was to become an interior designer before I started doing drugs, right? And I think that was part of also why I ended up doing that, because I wanted that so much, and then I got disillusioned working in that industry, working with fabrics, working with furniture. I had a few jobs in showrooms. I just got disillusioned with this as a career. There were top designers that made a lot of money and stuff, but the majority of the designers I encountered, the people, my customers, they were just picking up fabric swatches here, and selecting furniture here, delivering furniture from delivering furniture, the fabric for the furniture to the upholsterer, things like that. I worked in the Pacific Design Center for a while too, a couple of years actually. So I started working in that industry. Anyway, I didn't see a career in there for me. Many of those guys that did that were making much more money than retail. Now, I'm sure if you actually got into the industry, if you found a way in, then you would advance over the years. You wouldn't be coming in at entry level. But the people who did the shopping, particularly for textiles, which is what I sold, uh, they were really at the bottom of the totem pole, and most of them wouldn't end up working for companies. They would end up working for uh, themselves. So they say it's a lot of interior designers are males. Apparently, males do very well. Gay men do very well with interior design. If you go onto YouTube and you look at some of these beautiful homes, you'll see a lot of the designers are men, right? But the reality is, well, at least my experience was, most of the designers were housewives. They were housewives, and they had connections. So instead of just sitting around the house all day, they would become interior decorators, and they would have ability. If you are a doctor, then you had access to all the doctors' wives, all those communities. Then they would network like that. That was my experience. So if I were more, it takes more than one thing to become successful at anything. If I were more confident, if I were more driven, then I probably could have made it in that industry as interior designer. But I still enjoy it. I mean, I've done some jobs, and you work for yourself basically. If I were in Indiana, I'd probably be doing my family's homes, because I used to do that as a teenager. Even I wonder, is that when they first started to suspect? No one ever mentioned it, right? They had to know how the kid was a little bit light in his loafers, honey. But I was decorating for them even then as a teenager. Tim, crystal meth is still a major problem in the gay community. It's sad that the younger generation didn't learn from people like you. It's very sad. Let me see if there's a walk here right in front of my house. There's train tracks from the Muni. That's our subway here. And then there's a Safeway. All behind Safeway, there's a bike run, right? And you'll see these people, homeless, They're shooting up right there. They're smoking crack right there. You know, they don't. I guess they don't mind because when you walk past, nobody even looks up or anything. Fortunately, I didn't reach that level, but I can see it more clearly now for what it was at the time. See, when you're high, you don't give a shit. That's why you're able to just fall out on the street because you're just tired. You just go to sleep. You care less and less about the real world. That's the thing about using drugs. You don't think about paying your bills. You don't think about getting an apartment or a better apartment. You don't think about anything. Everything is about the next hit. Because as long as you're high, you're in a different altered state. So you will wonder, why are these beautiful young people? I mean, some of these people, they look at them, I don't think they're 20 years old. Tore up, laying on the street, filthy, dirty, and all this kind of shit. It's because they're high. Unfortunately, one of the saddest things, I think, is the people who don't have a lot of hustle. So, like the ones who have a lot of hustle, then they're in the hotels and so forth. You couldn't really get an apartment and maintain an apartment, right? Those people are going to be throwing rocks at your building, and somebody's going to get beat up in your hallway, and pretty soon you're going to be evicted from somewhere, right? So most people didn't have apartments. I couldn't, as a drug dealer, I couldn't have an apartment because I got towed on every day. I had to keep moving, baby. You go now, you go home. Your legs are tired. You've been running the streets all day, and they say your police are here looking for you, and they'll be back. Pack it up, 10 minutes, out to another hotel. But if you don't have any hustle, it's pretty sad. Those people, even though they're drug addicts technically, they usually ain't getting much drugs. They're scraping shit off the ground until the 1st or the 15th. If you don't have any hustle, if you're filthy dirty, you can't even prostitute yourself. Nobody wants that. So then the teeth start falling out and all that shit. It's horrible. But yes, meth is still an epidemic in San Francisco. I got hooked in Los Angeles, so I don't know where. Somebody told me that even in Atlanta now it's epidemic. So don't do drugs, people. I know you all ain't using like that because you wouldn't be on here. The last thing you want to do is be wasting time online because you're constantly hustling. Mm-hmm. What? Pass a peas like we used to do. What does that mean? Sharon Marie? Mm-hmm. It's a man's world. This is a man's world. But it wouldn't be nothing without a sweet woman or a girl. Man makes the car. Lord have mercy. James Brown had more hits than anybody. He didn't take that much for him to have a hit. When we were kids, it was 99 cents to get in James Brown concert. He always had a new release records. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's my song, Soul Sister. Yeah, I liked him singing slow songs though. I mean, his main thing was dancing, right? So he had a lot of fast songs. Papa don't take no mess. Papa don't take no mess. Papa don't take no mess. That's pretty much what the words would be. Oops, pass a porky pig. Well, we can take pasta to mean a certain person. Mm-hmm. I ain't heard from it in a while. I guess they burn the midnight oil, Sonny. the only executive or junior executive that works the graveyard shift. The big payback. Hey, I can dig rapping, I can dig scrapping, but I can't dig that backstabbing. Oh no, I'm ready for the big payback. Hey, who is the man that will risk his neck for brother man? Shaft. Damn straight. You see that cat Shaft is a bad mother. Shut your mouth. But I'm talking about Shaft, and he can dig it. He's a complicated man, but nobody sass him but his woman. John Shack. Dun-dun-dun, 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 dun. Tim, I'm curious again. How did you survive prison back in those days? Did you fight often being gay? Did you fight often being gay? No, Edgy, that was not my experience. My experience has been, of course, like anything, you're scared the first time, you know. But my first time in prison was at San Quentin here, one of the oldest prisons in the United States. Because I was HIV, I always lived my life out loud and open, right? So that's the first thing I tell them when I get in there. I'm HIV positive. At that time, they were housing all of the HIV people, or a good part of the HIV people in the state of California, in this gym. They used to have competitive fighting in gyms, believe it or not, in prison. So they built this big gym, and they put all of the HIV people in there. Now, this was not, you would think it would be a lot of homosexuals, right? But it wasn't. It was about half of homosexuals and half straight men. And we had bunks. So we didn't even have cells, right? So it was almost like being at the club, frankly. I mean, because half the people were gay, you know, and so I wasn't exposed to the violence of prison. A lot of these things that they say about prison, I never saw it. I never saw all this prison rape and all this. Baby, would you please calm down? Be quiet. Daddy, I don't like all that rape talk. Okay. A lot of that stuff is just a myth. It happened more before the 1960s, before prison reform, but there you couldn't do anything. If you hit somebody, by the time you throw the second blow, the police will be all around you because they were right there with their guns over where you slept at. You sleep right here, and the man with a gun is right over top of you, child. So, no, I wasn't exposed to a lot of that. Now, I went to several prisons, right? There were a couple of sticky situations. When I went to CMC, I've told the story about they put me into the cell with some guy who had done a double murder, and he had killed two gay men. And his story was that they had molested his son. The courts did not believe him. They thought he was just a homophobe. So now here I am with this damn homophobe who's murdered two people. And when I found this information out, I went back to my cell. I told the CO that I didn't feel good. He let me back in my cell. I packed all my stuff. You know, you don't have so much. My blankets. I took them to the middle of the yard, and I sat there. I'm not going back in this cell. That was probably the worst experience I had. Because when I was hearing his conversation soon after I found out what he did, and the anger in him, I didn't want to be in there. But there were other experiences. One time I was on a roll in that same prison, and I was taking a shower, right? Butthole naked. And this queen comes in there. Now I found out later she was a murderer. They had a lot of murderers in CMC. When they first get arrested for their crimes, they're in isolation. They're in like a level 4 prison. But as they behave themselves, they come down. And in CMC, they were mixed in with regular population. This queen come in there and said that I was looking at her man. Now, I've been made fun of a lot of sometimes on here. You don't like black men. You don't like black men. So it amazed me. This thing thought I was interested in her man, which was a big old black muscle builder, right? I had no interest, nothing whatsoever on the thing, right? So she was paranoid, and she came and she challenged me in the shower. Now, how am I going to fight somebody in a wet shower with no clothes on? She's fully dressed with her boots on in the shower, right? So apparently the legend was, well, she was kind of crazy. And the legend was that she accused all the homosexuals. She wanted to be the only one on the roll, right? Another time, this is another fight. This wasn't me. And that's at first time in San Quentin, I found out some of their tricks, right? They had some pretty mean tricks that went on in the prison. And this one guy, he was beefing with, we were from from LA. So we were from the South. This guy was from the North, this other queen, right? They got into it. They were beefing. And the queen waited until the other one, they weren't queens, they were gay boys, but they did their hair up a little bit, sissy kind of boys. the queen waited until the other guy went into the toilet. And when he had his pants pulled down around his ankles and taking a dump, that's when she went in here and put a lock in a sock and beat the boy up. He couldn't even walk. I mean, when he stood up, he fell down, right? And she was just beating him. You could only do it but a few minutes because the cops are right there. It's all open air, Yeah, so I saw some strange things in there. Huh? I am not excited about going back, but I did survive in there. You can get used to anything. And I never did a long time in prison. I went in and got out every single year. Every year I went back. The average about 3 months on the street. I'll be out there. But it was worth it to me at the time, honey. I thought I was having a good time. Did you fight often? No. I had a couple fights. I had to defend myself. But like I said, those fights there don't last but a couple of licks. No serious kind of thing because sometimes, especially with the Mexican people, they always stabbing each other and stuff because they had this Norteño, which was north, always fighting with LA, with the Southerners. What do they call it? Sereno. Sereno was from the south and Norteño was from the north. And when they were in the same prison, they had lots of beefs. And sometimes they could get bloody. We didn't have to experience any of that. I guess the cops tried their best to keep them separated. But a lot of people would lie, particularly if they were in there to get somebody. They would lie about where they were going. Stop, baby. Thank you for the super chat, Ed. I appreciate you, brother. I missed you. You been out there on vacation carrying on? I should take a vacation. I got to get this damn this license, this air thing. I was talking about it yesterday. What do you call it? License, new license. You needed to travel. I don't know if it's, maybe I should go before it. No, I only live a few blocks from DMV. I got to get it done. They have this new license where you need to fly. Because I haven't been back to Indiana in a while, at least 10 years. And my family's been here a few times. A lot of them, they all come and visit me. Me and my nephew, we are the only ones in this town. But I'd like to go back. Most of my uncles and aunts are passed away. Well, mainly the uncles. Just about all of them are gone. And my grandmother's gone, My mom is old. But I want to go back, see people. It's fun. When you go back, it's almost like you never left, That's family. I need to reconnect. Soft white underbelly. Let's see. If you watch YouTube videos, soft white underbelly, you see a lot. What's the soft white underbelly? What is that, Wendy? Grammy Extreme. What is soft white underbelly? Is that a channel? Y'all speak amongst yourselves. Speak amongst yourself. Let me see what this is. But why do I want to see the white underbelly? I want to see the black one. Hold on. Hold on just a minute. Soft white underbelly. Belly. Soft white. Well, I see they got channels. Oh my God. Quick fire. What is that all about? Quick fire. Okay, we got to check it out. So there are people giving testimony? Oh my God. Oh, some of them are monstrous. And some of them are pimp interview. They got Mac Rooster. Well, that must call him Mac Rooster. You yellow boy. Mac Rooster. Then they got, okay, let me just. All
right, Mac Rooster. Mac Rooster. Oh, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
Mahia, Texas, man, by way of Dallas,
Texas. Dallas, Texas. Wait a minute. Let me get this out of here. Okay, we'll check that out. Who gave me that information? Wendy Extreme? It looks interesting. It looks like people giving their testimonies. Is that it? That looked interesting as hell. Some of them look like monsters, though. Are they talking about the trailer people? I don't know. I'll check it out later. I'm having a hard time getting hard time getting your flying license. Yeah, there's a name for that thing. What do they call it? Anybody know? This new driver's license you need to fly, and soon you're not going to be able to get on the plane without it. We've been on COVID for a year and a half, and they've been talking about it for a whole year and a half. But you can probably get there now. Tim, where did you buy the new chair? The new chair is from Amazon. Wayfair. Wayfair, they got just what they need. I don't like all the news. It's kind of modern looking to me, but I've got a lot of stuff in there. I got this couch from there too. A few things, you know. I like shopping. They got a lot of stuff on there. It's a new way to shop. Shoshana's going to check out that website too. That's how you learn things. It's the Real ID. Okay, thank you, Laser Real. It's called the Real ID. Now, we were under attack. How long has that been now? 20 years? 9/11, 20 years ago, and then they come up with some other restriction to fly. I guess maybe it's got some kind of code in there and they can find out your whole history or something. I don't know. Doesn't seem to me all that necessary. You got to change the whole damn country. Everybody got to change their ID now. I'm still me, shit. Wayfair is awesome. I like a lot of old stuff. I like the juxtaposition, though. I really believe that that's really my style. In other words, like San Francisco's majority is Victorians, right? Old buildings, 100 years old, 150 years old. If I were in a character building, I think it looks good when you have modern furniture. If you're in a building with a lot of character, right? But if you're in in a modern place like this, which is basically they're just square boxes, right? But I like the cleanness of the square box, and then just do decoration. But I like older things and newer things. It's a juxtaposition. I love it when they show these great grand houses, and they have these old houses, big houses, and you go inside, and then they got all real modern furniture. Or I don't like mid-century modern as a rule, but there's got to be some kind of juxtaposition. In other words, if an old building and I put antique furniture in the old building, it's going to look like my grandmother's house or something like that, right? But if you have an old building and you put modern furniture in it, then it's going to be contemporary. If you have a modern building and then in a newer building, to give it a little character, because the building basically they don't have any character. You have to add it, right? So that's just my thing with decorating, with design. If I had more space, I'd probably be more eclectic, where you would have both modern and antique. Yeah, wait for deal, because even somebody, when I went in there to buy this couch, and I had the money to buy it, but they were offering me, you could pay it off in 90 days. They gave you instant credit right there within 15 minutes. And I had no credit at all. I haven't had credit in over 30 years since I've been in this city, for sure. Maybe even further than that. 30, 35 years, I had no credit at all. And yet they're willing to give me furniture. I think I paid $20 down, and then, I think it was $40 down for that. And then you make payments on it, right? But if you make payments for the whole year, it's going to end up costing you twice what you paid for it. If this couch was $1,000, if you paid it over a year, it would be $2,000 with all the interest. But if you paid it off in 90 days, you don't pay anything. You just paid for the price of the furniture. So that's why I bought from them. It's real simple. Particularly if you don't have any credit, you can do it. All they want is your social security number. I don't know what to be if you have bad credit. or something. But I don't have any at all. So, and I don't want any. They send me constantly sending me, you can have, you call it pre-qualified for a credit card. No, honey. I don't need no bills. No more bills. No, thank you. Thank you, Wendy, for the super chat. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And thank you for giving me that website. I mean, that channel. It might be interesting. I never ran into it before. Etsy.com also has vintage items. Etsy. Is that one of the real expensive ones or what? I know a lot of them use that. What's that other one? Overstock. I never bought anything in there. I don't need anything. So it's just Etsy. I've heard that name before. Where is it? Etsy.com. ESTY. That's the last thing I need is be going over here to Etsy and getting hooked. I don't know what I was buying, you know. I still want to go see. I still want to go and see. That's how you find out about things. Right. I don't believe in that credit card stuff. I got hooked on credit cards as a young person. I had 3 or 4 of them before I even turned 20, before I left Indiana. So you just working to pay bills. Fuck that. Nope. If I can't afford it, I'll do without. Or like I said, with something like this, if you pay it off in 90 days, I paid up all that stuff. I paid it off in 30 days, right? Just because I didn't want anything hanging over my head. Or something like that. But I don't want no ongoing credit line. You get in trouble. You get in trouble, and I ain't got no job. Don't be, again, making expenditures based on YouTube either, because it could all change in a second, honey. Baby, be quiet. Y'all want a dog? I gotta go. Ding, 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 ding. The funny thing is, I don't even hear anybody in the hall. They have very sensitive noses and ears, so they hear anytime somebody walks through the hall, they hear it. I don't hear anything. They smell everything. Some of these jobs got better jobs than the humans. They don't get nothing but some kibble bits. Drug sniffing dogs, cadaver sniffing dogs, CNI dogs. What else is going on? I see they over there. Let me see. I just saw somebody as we plan to depart here. Well, I just see. I think James over there talking it out with Olivia. Maybe I'll go over there. Go over there, baby. Let's see if we can write this story here. But yeah, so I'm hoping that them guys can. They understand that they need to squash that quickly. Somebody said that they're already speaking to each other. If that's the truth, that's the best thing. Don't let some little thing become a big thing, right? Because somebody will say something, then you say something worse, then she'll say something worse, and then all of a sudden you're in this major beef, and you're starting to spill each other's business. And for what? You know, a silly disagreement, right? All right, lovely darlings. Thanks for coming in today. Thank you for the super chats. I appreciate you, Wendy, Eddie. Maybe we'll talk tomorrow. You see, we've been coming on pretty regular lately. We'll see. Love you guys. Have a good Sunday. Later.